Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today, as you've seen from the title, it's a very exciting one because on the table we have a product which is potentially comparable to these two absolute flagship juggernauts, but it only costs £300. That's insane. We've got a Samsung Note 9, base price £900. We have the iPhone XS Max, base price £1,100 UK pounds. And in the middle, as I've said, the Xiaomi Pocophone F1, £300. Many people are touting this phone as phone of the year. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Right, so like I said, we have the Samsung Note 9, the iPhone XS Max, and in the middle, the Pocophone F1 by Xiaomi. Now I'm going to move these two to the side because we've already unboxed and reviewed these, and they are great phones, but they're very expensive. This little beaut, on the other hand, is, as I said, £300. We're going to unbox it, talk about the specs, quick camera test, benchmarks, etc. So let's crack on. Right, so... I just stabbed myself. There's a tiny little prick, as you can see there. That sounded really rude. I apologise for that. Right, so before we actually get inside the box, let's take a look at some of the core specs on the back and one of the reasons why, again, it's been so popular. Straight away, as you can see, we have the Snapdragon 845 SoC, a liquid cooling system, therefore great for gaming, for example. Dual rear camera, and the one on the end there, as you can see, 4,000 mAh battery capacity. The exact same chipset as the Samsung Note 9, and of course the same battery size as the Note 9 as well. So these are two core reasons straight away why this has been so popular. So let's do the honors. Right, so straight away, one thing that I forgot, we have the global version here. So this is compatible for nearly all different countries. I will leave a link in the video description below, not only to get this at one of the best prices, but also on that website, it does tell you which LTE bands it's compatible with, for example. So definitely go and check that out if you're not sure. So one thing to discuss while we're admiring the wonderful black and yellow.
Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
No? To be fair, packaging, colouring, spot on. Love the black and yellow.
You know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, so while we're looking at the packaging, let's talk about the name. Pocophone by Xiaomi. Now, Xiaomi is the kind of parent company of a split-off company which have, of course, produced this Pocophone F1. Similar to what Huawei did with Honor, and that's been really successful for Huawei, and that has actually helped Huawei be one of the biggest selling brands of 2018. And I think Xiaomi are looking to do a similar thing with Pocophone. Flagship specs at a cheaper price by making a few sacrifices, which we'll get to. Right, so let's delve into the box. So inside here, of course, the phone is there. We also have a case and a manual in here, and the case is, so it's kind of like a translucent black silicone case. It's not going to give you great protection, but one of the good things about the Pocophone F1 in terms of protection is the build quality. Now, I mentioned in previous videos on this phone that it has a plastic back, which I'm not a massive fan of because it doesn't feel quite as premium, but on the flip side, it is much more rugged, much more durable, and if you're the sort of person that puts plastic cases on their phones anyway, you won't really notice much of a difference because it does actually feel fairly nice in the hand, actually nicer than I was expecting. You do of course have the metal frame around the outside as well, which kind of makes it, like I said, feel a little bit more premium. Such a nice sound, it really is. It gets me every time. Right, so I'm just going to power this on, and then we're going to look at some of the other stuff that's in the box. Right, so also in the box we have Type-C charge, so you're going to get fast charging with it, and a plug, and your SIM ejector tool as well. So not a massive amount, but all the core necessities that you need with a phone. Now, straight away you can see here it has MIUI 9, which is Xiaomi's skin that goes over the top of Android 8.1 on this case. There is a slight skin difference though with the Pocophone F1, and it does feel a lot more like stock Android than the usual experience you would get with a Xiaomi MIUI phone. So I'm just going to pop some of my details in, and then we're going to discuss design, test the sound, the camera, benchmarks, and then just give you my overall first impressions. Also, a lot of you guys have been asking me in recent videos and photos on Instagram what smartwatch I've actually got on at this moment in time. Now, I've been wearing this recently, and the great thing about this watch right here is it costs just £15, which is insane. It's good if you like sports watches, for example, and it is actually a smart watch. So as you can see here, we've got Bluetooth connectivity. We can also get notifications from our phone straight to our smartwatch, and it has this proper dial as well. So it looks very much like a normal watch, but it's also smart as well. It's also water resistant. So if you're in the market for a very cheap device, a very cheap smartwatch, and you like the sort of sports look, then look no further, £15, link below. So yeah, as you can see here, we can choose between Poco, Default, or Limitless as well. They are the three themes, and as you can see, if we go with Poco, it does feel a bit more like stock Android. It's got an app drawer, for example, whereas with MIUI, you don't have that. So let's talk design firstly. Yes, we have the notch. Yes, we have a slightly larger chin than you might hope for. It's a very kind of been-done design from the front in 2018. So, Google search bar at the top, app drawer there. I mean, straight away, it literally feels as fluid as the top brands, and that's because it's got the Snapdragon 845. You literally cannot go wrong. The best SoC on the market. It's literally a dream. You're also going to have no problems whatsoever with gaming, for example, due to its liquid cooling system. Adreno 630, again, one of the best GPUs currently on the market. 6GB of RAM. I will leave all of the options in the video description below. And one thing that this does have, you have a micro SD card slot as well, up to 256GB with that. You just get a real idea that this is going to be an absolute powerhouse. The display is 2246 by 1080, so full HD display, PPI density of 403. It is an LCD display as well. It's not the most bright either, so it's not a dull screen, and it is pretty crisp, but outside in bright sunshine, it may be a little bit dark. You've got a headphone jack, which is a bonus again for a lot of people. Volume up and down and the power button, and the buttons have a nice clicky feel to them. They do feel pretty sturdy. Still not quite as good as my favorite currently in the smartphone world, the Xiaomi Mi A2. Not quite sure what they did to those buttons, but I absolutely love them. Speakers on the bottom. I'm gonna do a quick sound test for you. So I'm gonna play one of my music video? I don't do music videos. I wish I did. Drop a like on the video if you want to see me do a music video. Definitely don't. So, quick sound test. Hi guys, it's ASBYT. Welcome back to I'll turn it right up and I'll hold it up to the microphone. Of the great. And of course, by that, as you've seen from the title, we have a smartphone from Nokia. And I'm very excited to see. Let's get straight to it. Yeah, so that's potentially one of the drawbacks, is the sound quality. The speaker isn't the best, and that's even though this phone is advertised as having stereo speakers. No, it's not terrible. It'll still do an okay job, but definitely don't buy this phone if you're mad into your audio quality from your speakers on your smartphone. Now let's test the camera, because this is another area where a lot of people will say, well, the camera's going to be trash because it's 300 quid, and I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. And to be honest, I am mightily impressed with the level of the camera when I know the specs and I know the price. Again, sorry to keep harping on, but so far this is really living up to expectation. We do have a dual rear camera, like I mentioned, 12 megapixel and a 5 megapixel. The 12 megapixel sensor is f1.9 aperture and the 5 megapixel is f2.0 aperture. So in terms of low light, I'm guessing it's not going to be as good as some of the top flagship phones, but I will be definitely testing that. If you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, especially Instagram, I will be taking lots of photos using the Pocophone F1. I'll be taking some at night as well, so you can get an idea of just how it performs. Video recording is 2160 up to 30 frames a second, which is very impressive. Not quite the 60 frames a second that we see on, again, some of the top premium brands, but still a very good effort. Very impressive. Let's test out the front-facing selfie camera. Might as well. And we also have portrait as well. And let's just have a little zoom in. Edge detection is actually a lot better than I was expecting. That is a very, very good effort from Xiaomi. I'm not going to lie, or Pocophone or Poco, whatever, yeah. That rivals, if not beats, some of the top premium brands. And front-facing video can be filmed at 1080p up to 30 frames a second. Not 4K, but again, there really aren't many, if any, smartphones that have a front-facing camera that captures 4K. While we're here, let's test the fingerprint sensor. And knowing Xiaomi like I do, it's going to be, well, as you've seen, very, very impressive. Xiaomi, Huawei and OnePlus probably are the quickest on the market currently right now, and this is right up there with their flagship devices in terms of the speed and the accuracy of the fingerprint sensor. It's a little bit small. I would personally prefer it slightly larger and perhaps slightly further down, just to separate it from the camera lens so that you don't get smudges, for example, but again, still does a very, very good job. So let's talk the potential downsides that you might want to consider and where they may have cut corners for the price, because at the end of the day, not everything's going to be rosy. The actual glass is Gorilla Glass, but it's not the best Gorilla Glass available. No NFC, no wireless charging, which would be deal breakers for some people, not personally for me. Speaker quality, design, and possibly, but not really, this is a real nitpicking negative, and that's the screen brightness. And also, weirdly, you can't run Netflix in HD. Now, apparently, according to the company, they are due to release a software update on this so that you can. I'm not too sure whether they will. So if Netflix in HD is essential for you on your smartphone, then don't go with the Pocophone F1. And that's really it on first impressions. What's good about it? 4,000 mAh battery, Snapdragon 845, Adreno 630, the camera's good, the headphone jack's there, Type-C fast charging, a full HD display. And as a result, the real mystery for me with this phone is how on earth they managed to price this at just 300 UK pounds. Pretty similar in US dollars as well. I'll leave some conversions on the right hand side here. They won't convert accurately. It will be priced slightly differently in those regions, but it'll give you a rough idea of cost. And also, another mystery is how Xiaomi now expects to make sales on other phones that they've brought out that are either similar price but don't have as good specs, or the same specs which are priced more because they're the flagship phones like the Xiaomi Mi 8 and Explorer and all of them sort of phones. Why you would necessarily opt for those, although how great they are, if you're not that bothered about the fact that it's got a plastic back, for example, you get pretty much everything that you get on those phones on here, but it's cheaper. I have to agree with many different people that this will send shockwaves through the smartphone world. I can 100% recommend this device if you have £300 that you want to spend on a smartphone in terms of bang for your buck. I don't think there's a better phone. And as a result, certainly so far, new phones come out all the time, but we're now in October, smartphone of the year? It certainly could well be. So we'll be doing a more in-depth review hopefully on this phone. If you're interested in that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, turn on the notification bell so that when I post that video you are notified. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you think about the Pocophone F1 or the Poco F1 or the Xiaomi Poco F1 or the Xiaomi Pocophone F1. Is it a phone you're very interested in? Is it a phone you are buying? Is it a phone you have bought? How are you getting on with it? Like and share if you did enjoy this video and found it helpful. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. TSBYT, peace out.